For more than 40 years, a shadow hung over California. A man who broke into homes at night, terrorized families, and vanished before dawn. He had no name. Investigators simply called him the Golden State Killer. This is the story of how one of America's most elusive criminals was finally caught. Not by a confession, not by a witness, but by a piece of science nobody saw coming. It started in the 1970s in quiet suburban neighborhoods east of Sacramento. Break-ins, then assaults, then worse. The attacks grew more violent, more calculated. Detectives realized they weren't looking at random crimes. They were looking at one man, methodical and terrifyingly patient, who studied his victims before he ever stepped inside their homes. As the crimes spread across California, so did the case files. Police in different counties didn't even realize they were chasing the same man. It took years before investigators connected the pattern, matching evidence, matching methods. They gave him a new name for each new crime spree, until the pieces finally came together into one terrifying profile. By the mid-1980s, the attacks stopped. No arrest, no suspect, just silence. For decades, the case sat in evidence boxes, gathering dust. Detectives retired. Witnesses grew old. Physical evidence remained, carefully preserved DNA samples, but the technology to make sense of it simply didn't exist yet. Investigators tried everything they had. They ran the DNA against criminal databases again and again, year after year. Every single time, the search came back empty. The man had no criminal record on file. He was, technically, invisible. It seemed like the case might never be solved. Then, in 2018, one investigator tried something completely different. Instead of searching criminal databases, he uploaded the killer's DNA profile to a public genealogy website, the same kind of site people use to build their family trees. It was a long shot, but long shots were all that was left. The genealogy search returned distant relatives, third and fourth cousins, people with no idea they were connected to a criminal investigation. Investigators built out an enormous family tree, branch by branch, narrowing thousands of names down to a small handful, then down to one. His name was Joseph James D'Angelo, a former police officer, a grandfather, a man who had lived an ordinary, unremarkable life for decades in a quiet California town, while investigators quietly closed in, confirming his identity through a discarded item bearing his DNA. In April 2018, police arrested D'Angelo outside his home. After more than 40 years, the man behind dozens of burglaries, sexual assaults, and murders finally had a name and a face. He would later plead guilty to 13 counts of murder, closing a case that had haunted investigators for generations. The Golden State Killer case changed criminal investigation forever. Genetic genealogy, the method that cracked it, has since helped solve dozens of other cold cases across the country. For the survivors and families who waited decades for answers, it proved something powerful. No matter how much time passes, the truth doesn't have to stay buried.